Hey guys, welcome to this week's podcast episode for the Financial Freedom Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Christopher Liu, and I have a very special guest for you today. He's Ross McDaniel, and he's a growth strategist. And I love talking all things business. I love, like we were talking, I love to create an open space forum for cross-pollination of ideas, and Ross is the perfect guest for that. So welcome, Ross.
Thanks for having me on. Like I said, is excited to be here.
Yeah, I know we had connected through Podmatch and we have mutual connections. Tell the audience about your background, your story, and we'll get started.
Yeah, so I'm a digital marketer by trade. I've been doing this thing for businesses large and small since about 2011. And several years ago, decided to make a jump from agency life in-house. And for me and my family, it was a beautiful thing until it wasn't. And around that time, the pandemic hit and things were going crazy. I know it hit for a lot of people, but something was missing deep in the bowels of my soul, right? Some of the entrepreneurial pursuits and endeavors that were synonymous with agency life, just the fast pace and getting the opportunity to see multiple businesses grow and thrive. And so my wife and I decided to make the jump, and we launched Fencepost. We landed on Fencepost because we want to help home service businesses grow. We come from a really mid-sized town in southeastern United States in Augusta, Georgia, and my background was helping companies as large as 100 location franchises down to as small as, the mom and pop roofing companies here in town. And the people that loved paying our invoices and thanked us for doing so, and that we thought, wow, this is way too much money, that perfect apex, were just these mom and pops where we could really see just the impact of what we were doing. So Fencepost was wrought out of that and the desire to see communities flourish as a result of our efforts on the digital marketing side. So that's where we came from.
Yeah, fantastic story. And it's almost kind of made me reminisce about, how crazy and wild and wacky things were in 2020 when you couldn't go outside and you had everything.
They were insane. Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't think we'll ever see that, in my lifetime, but who knows?
Yeah, I trust your opinion on that more than mine. I certainly hope not. But I mean, as you're well aware, there's no shortage of opportunities coming out of these situations. And I think there are many folks who really just use this as an opportunity to put fears aside and take the plunge.
Yeah. So your central thesis is local growth formula, and kind of explain to the audience, because this idea of local is not well understood. So kind of explain it to the audience.
Yeah, I think growth as a macro concept within the business world is pretty ubiquitous. The core ingredients are the same as they are for a Fortune 500 company as they are for a local business. And if you have what we believe are these four ingredients, as a local business, you will thrive and you will scale and you will grow as much as you want to. Those four ingredients are: one, visibility. People have to know you exist. Your customer base has to know that you exist in the market that you serve. The second thing is competency, right? And these are no-brainers. The second thing is competency. You have to be good at what you do. And not only do you have to be good, you have to be as good or better than your next closest competitor. Third ingredient would be social proof. So people that you serve have to be willing and eager to share about their positive experience that they had with your company, preferably in a digital format. Our personal favorite are Google reviews. We've got a whole system for that. But people have to be willing to share their experience. And then the fourth ingredient is referral. That's kind of an extension of that social proof. But people have to be willing to sell for you. And you can get by with just two of those, competency and visibility. But really, if you have all four, those golden handcuffs will fall right off. And that doesn't go for, like I said, Fortune 500, but any local business, whether you're a roofer, a medical practice, or somewhere in between, those four ingredients are the same.
Yeah, I love that. It's amazing. Like, with these podcasts and the guests they share through socials, through email, and it amplifies that. It's amazing, how these partnerships and especially affiliates as well, that works very well. You talk about the number one killer of local businesses. Kind of explain that, and we'll go into why they fail to close leads and all of that.
Yeah. And the reason why people fail to close leads is a symptom of the root cause, which is the number one killer of local businesses. And what it really boils down to is communication. If you just communicate with your customer and you communicate effectively and clearly and on time, it will cover up a litany of other deficiencies. You can get away with a lot and get by with a lot if you just over communicate. And what you'll find, like, communication it's not just oral, it's not just written, it's even showing up on time. I mean, that's a form of communication. That's a form of delivering your product and service. And so the number one hole in the leaky part of the leaky bucket of acquiring new business is actually just not picking up the phone. It's amazing. I think it's an older statistic, but a 2017 statistic from Google is something like 47% of phone calls go unanswered. And man, if you can just pick up the phone or get your team to pick up the phone and have a reasonable sales script, you're going to close a lot more business. I don't want to say 47% more, but hey, that's the statistic.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. It's like kind of like that. What is like and it's like, I love these like little things that you can do that lead to huge gains.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you help, you help local businesses integrate the local growth formula. So, what are two ways that someone can integrate this formula into their business today for free, in addition to what you do?
I mean, visibility is pretty tough. You can go out and like get a wavy guy that or a sign twirler out front. You can go pay a bunch of money for digital ads. You can buy a billboard, whatever. That stuff's expensive. Putting a referral system in place gets pretty tricky. But competency and social proof are very easy to address very quickly. For one, just draft a simple script for you and your admin team to use when they pick up the phone. There's probably, at most 5 different types of phone calls that you get, right? Draft out a simple script, a simple 20-second script for each one. And that'll go a long way. And the second thing is go back through your CRM, your customer database. If you've been in business for anything longer than 6 months, you've got a litany of customers. Go email each of those people. It can even be a mass email, and just ask for a simple review on your Google business profile. If you do those 2 things, you're already halfway there.
Yeah. And I love this. And you talk about Google business reviews, but what other, kind of hacks, social media that you would recommend, for business owners?
That's interesting. I think one of the things that people fall short on is they don't go claim their Google business listing. And I know, again, I've harped on Google a lot. Google's just the place that people go when they need a service. Everywhere from my HVAC guy that my wife and I called because we are moving into a new home to, the doctor down the street that we need a consult for, we go to Google first. And if people would just go claim their free Google business listing, man, you are automatically boosting your search presence above and beyond what your competitors are doing. So I think that's a big one. The other thing is it's exactly what you and I are working on doing, and that is just posting a little bit about what we know each day, right? Like, it doesn't take a lot. I am surprised every day that people don't know the things I know, and take it for granted that that's not something that is normally out there in the ethos. And I'm surprised every day when I learn something new as I'm scrolling through Instagram or Facebook or something like that. So taking little tidbits of what you know and parsing them out each and every day. It's another thing.
Yeah, I love this idea of influencer marketing, or what they call educational content, kind of educating, developing rapport, trust, entertaining them. It creates a better customer and, a two-way street. This really fascinating discussion. The other question is, for businesses that want to use your local growth formula, what's the best way to get started? Resource? Tell us more.
Yeah, the best way to get engaged with my company, Fencepost, is let us take a look at what you got going on. We offer a free. We say it's 5 minutes. A lot of times it ends up being 10 to 15 minutes long, where me and my team will go through your entire web presence. We'll take a look at your website. We'll take a look at your Google business listing. We'll check out any of the paid ads you're running, and just give our honest thoughts based on our decade plus of experience being in the niche. A lot of times it uncovers really awesome areas that people are succeeding and doing exceptionally well. You'd be surprised at the number of times we're looking and we're like, wow, we're actually going to steal that. And then other times it just uncovers some areas of opportunity. And the other thing that amazes me is just the low-hanging fruit that exists in nearly every market. A lot of times there's just simple things. They're not even labor-intensive things. They're just simple things that people could do to turn the dial. And that's the other thing, Chris. If you look at the local growth formula, I mean, we're not saying, hey, like turn the nozzle up, the dial up 100% in each of the 4 ingredients. If you just do 5% in each category, well, that's a 20% improvement on your total formula, your total local growth formula, by just doing small things in each category. And that's really, it's one of my wife and I, my family's mantras. It's our core business value is consistent growth over time. So if we can do that, we're in great shape. Back to your original question though. Yeah, we offer these free 5-minute video assessments so that we can give people an opportunity to get an outsider's perspective on what they're doing, and then pave the way for us developing a local growth formula for them.
Yeah, I love this. This reminds me of this kind of this compound effect where you divide your business up into 4 areas and you focus on the different levers. I think it was with Dan's one of the I think can't remember but he's a marketer, and he's talking about each, like you focus on one lever, you increase it by 1%, and then by the time you have like 20 levers, 1%
compounding. Absolutely.
Yeah. So
absolutely. And we would definitely take that approach and that mantra too. And, our clients are oftentimes with us for, 18 to 24 months. And, we're seeing gains all along the way. But then when you look back and you're like, holy cow, we did 300% over when we first started. And we weren't doing 300%, 6 months from when we started or 12 months from when we started. It's just a hockey stick. It's a compounding effect. And that's really our goals. We want to see that consistent growth over time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all about longevity. Thanks for a fantastic conversation about local growth and expanding upon that. For the audience out there, Ross's resources, his company information will be in the show notes. And Ross, tell us, some of the success stories that clients have had with working with you.
Yeah, thanks for asking. And again, thanks for having me on. My favorite clients that we've had are clients that have come in and they've got decent businesses, 2 in particular. One's a cleaning company and one's a roofing company. And our cleaning company, they were all into the business books, the business structure. They had the systems, but for some reason they were like looking to get over that hump, and they just needed like an outsider's guide to come in and just put an outsider's perspective on where their local growth formula was and where it was lacking. And so what we were able to do is we were able to come in, put a simple review automation system in place, go ahead and optimize some landing pages, and then run our cleaning company Google Ads playbook. And all of a sudden, those golden handcuffs that Terry, our client, was feeling started to come off. And we were able to free him up from some of those things, from some of the day-to-day operations. It's a similar story with our roofing company. And that goes back to the 300% one. That's actually what I was saying. They came in with no systems, nothing. They didn't even know what a Google review was, much less a Google business profile, and had never run any ads. We took a ton of budget that they were allocating in TV and billboards, and ultimately integrated it in some of these other more local growth formula specific areas. And over the last 2 years, we've seen 300% growth, and going to look for our next 300% over the next 2 years. Nice. So that's what we're proud of, those moments. And not everybody is just, like off to the moon. But I guarantee you, if you integrate these four ingredients into your local growth formula, you'll see some growth.
Yeah. And so thanks for a wonderful, enlightening podcast episode. And thanks for coming onto the show.
No, I appreciate it, Chris. I really do. Thank you.